Restic has a handful of environment variables that you can use to pre-configure how it works. Let's look at a few that you might find useful. Here are the list of environment variables, and to add a new variable, you can go to your system settings, under About, Advanced System Settings, and Environment Variables. When you click on New under User Variables, you can provide the name and the value of the variable. First environment variable we should look at is the Restic repository variable. With this set, you can provide the location of the repository. For example, if my repository is on dmedia, we can set the location here, and in my backup command, I can omit the repository option or -R option when I want to work with that repository. I'll go ahead and run the snapshots command, and without specifying the repository, I can use the snapshot command. There's also the Restic repository file, which when specified, you can point to a file such as repo.txt, for example, and inside the text file you can put the location of the repository, like so. There's the Restic password, which we looked at along with Restic password file when managing passwords. So here you can put Restic password followed by the password, and Restic won't prompt you to authenticate with the password. And of course, we looked at Restic password file, which you can use just like the Restic repository file, where you simply point to a file with the password of the repository. There's the Restic compression environment variable that we looked at when we looked at compression. And again, this can be set to auto, max, or off. There's Restic pack size, which you can use to set how Restic crunches up files within the repository. And this should be set to any number, and it's going to be in megs. So if you do 64, this would be 64 megs, or 128 for 128 megs. Other environment variables that you might find useful is the temporary directory environment variable. This is where you can set the location of temporary files, the rclone bandwidth limit, which can set the limit of the rclone backend, and of course all the environment variables for the cloud services such as Amazon S3, Google Cloud Storage, and Azure. I also want you to keep in mind that when setting environment variables like the Restic repository, you can still specify a repository with the -R option. For example, if I did -R and I had a repository on eMedia, this would still work. We'd just be overriding the environment variable. I will provide a link to this page where you can see a list of all the environment variables that you can use with Restic.